To begin to become familiar with the sewing machine, you will practice sewing with a straight stitch following a line. Find the first line down from the top edge. You will sew along this line with a straight stitch, back stitching at the beginning and end. Set your stitch width to 0 and your stitch length to 3. Place the fabric underneath the presser foot. Carefully line up the needle with the line. The edge of the fabric should be slightly past the needle. Lower the presser foot. Check that everything is properly lined up. Hold the 2 threads with your left hand to keep them from tangling and sew forward 2 or 3 stitches. Lift the knob to backstitch 2 or 3 stitches and release. Sew forward following the line. Use both hands to carefully guide the fabric as you sew. The feed dogs of the machine will move the fabric along at the right speed, so while you are sewing, do not push or pull the fabric. Any pushing or pulling can result in stitching that is too tight or loose, or even lead to bent or broken needles. When your needle reaches the edge of the fabric, lift the knob to backstitch 2 or 3 stitches, release it, and stitch to the edge of the fabric. Lift the presser foot. Check to be sure the needle is in the upright position before removing the fabric. If the needle is not in the upright position, turn the hand crank wheel towards you until the needle is upright. Gently pull the work out towards the back and clip the threads close to your work. It is a good habit to then immediately trim the threads from the beginning of your stitching as well. This keeps your work neat and prevents those threads from getting tangled in any future stitching. Check that your stitching remains on the line the entire time. If needed, redo any sections that do not. Next, you will stitch a small box starting in the middle of the next line. You will turn each corner and end where you began. Width should be set to 0 and your stitch length should be adjusted to 3.5. Place the fabric underneath the presser foot, line up the center of the top line with the needle. Put the presser foot down and stitch to the corner. Be sure to hold on to the 2 beginning threads for the first few stitches. Stop when you reach the corner. Use the hand crank wheel to move the needle into the down position. Lift the presser foot, turn the fabric. Replace the presser foot and sew to the next corner. Place the needle in the down position, lift the presser foot, and turn the corner. Put the presser foot back down and sew to the next corner. Continue to sew along the line and turn the corners until you reach where you began sewing. As you approach the place where you began, be sure that the beginning threads are out of the way. Continue sewing until you have sewn over where you began 2 or 3 stitches. Backstitch to complete the rectangle. If needed, turn the hand crank wheel towards you to lift the needle into the upright position. Lift the presser foot, pull the work out towards the back, and clip the threads close to the work. Clip the threads at the beginning of the seam as well. Check to be sure that the stitching follows the lines exactly, especially at the corners. If needed, seam rip and restitch any of these areas.